How about now? Is that coming through? Good. Can you give me control?
Yes. Let's see. There you go.
You are the host. All right. Let's do that one. Let's share it. Okay. Good. You got desktop, I hope?
Yep.
Awesome. I've got a little program that I'm willing to give out for free. It's been kind of a experiment with Python over quarantine because I was bored and I was trying to escape my family. But I'll show you what it does first, and then I'll kind of tell you, you know, where you can get it, and we'll figure that out as we go. Let me just build a BS folder just so I can have something. You're gonna have to listen to my keyboard clack. I apologize. Sweet new folder. We'll call this. I don't even know what we call this group. Just kind of AUS civil. That's fine. All right. So now I've got that folder. That's what I'm looking for. Program's called Austin Plans. If you got a virus detector, it's probably going to lose its mind because I don't have an SSL on it. I don't have a whitelist request. That's okay. It takes a little bit to start. It's about 17 megs in install footprint. But what you get is it looks like this. Okay. So we'll do browse, and I'll show you what it does. And then I think once you see it, you'll realize that it's actually got some value. So we'll do that. Okay. So it says get plan set. This is pulling it from the City of Austin Connect server. So let's go find just a rando data set, and we'll see what we got. Give me just a second because their server is super slow. It's probably down today, knowing my luck. Nope, it's good. All right. So City of Austin, unfortunately, when you do a correction or you upload your plan set, you all know that you have to download each sheet at a time, which is irritating as hell. Sometimes there's corrections, sometimes there's not. So let's go find a specific project and see if we can get the whole freaking set instead of trying to worry about the rest. So let's go, I always have a hard time finding it. It's under permits or something. Review cases, subdivision cases, all. We'll do site plans. It doesn't matter, it works on both. So I'm just gonna go find a set of plans that I know I did, just so we can use it on something that is real. Turned around, there's 15th, right? And where's 15th? Yeah, I might just pull something random that's not. There's 15th. All right, so I did a capital project here. So what you need is you need the RSN number, which is how the city organizes all of their data. So what I did was I picked on that set, it gave me the RSN data, and I just say, that's the RSN number, and we'll just go get it. And we'll see how it goes. So their server is inherently slow. It always has been. I can't fix that. So there's 43 documents that it's pulling down, and it's downloading. You can kind of see in the background, it's pulling each one of those sheets. Those are all TIFFs. I don't want TIFFs, I want PDFs. And sometimes it hangs on the last one. Not all of those are construction plan sheets. Some of them are permits. Some of them are water meter fees or whatever the hell the city wants to put in that folder. So the first thing it does is it goes to the web and it web scrapes every sheet, and then including the corrections. And then if they're all TIFFs, because they can be either, right? They can be either PDFs or TIFFs. If they're TIFFs, it converts it into a PDF, each sheet individualized. And all this is open source. I didn't use anything that cost any money to do this. And then when it's done, you'll end up having one PDF that's got every plan sheet in it in order, kind of from front to back, including all the corrections. In this case, I don't know if I have any. I probably have a couple, but that was an old plan set that I did. I'll provide the program without warranty. If you've got really heavy or poorly scanned TIFFs, I have seen the PDF converter turn it into giant black boxes. It's not perfect on any measure. We've been testing it internally and it seems to be working okay for about 90% of what we pull. But the reason that I needed it is I was doing due diligence, and I don't ever like to go fishing for a drainage area map or go fishing for something else. I just want to pull the whole damn set, scrape it down, and go. And you can repeat it as it goes. So really all you need is you need to know where to stick the file, and then you need the RSN folder. And that RSN folder doesn't have to, it could be subdivision plans, it could be site development plans, it doesn't matter. That's all I've got. Anybody have any questions on that?
No questions, but that looks great. That could definitely be really helpful to a lot of us.
Fantastic.
If you want it, send me an email and I'll see if I can package it up and ship it out. My email address is that guy, andy.carter at LandDevConsulting.com. andy.carter at LandDevConsulting.com. So, and if you get it, you have the rights to distribute it, but just know that it's an as-is deal, right? If it works, it works. If it deletes your hard drive, it ain't my fault. So it should not delete your hard drive, but if it does, it's not my fault.
You put that in the EULA, right?
There isn't one. If I release it to you, it's going to be under like an MIT license, and you'll have to know that that's it's kind of an as-is deal.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got. I guess I can stop sharing and now, Jason, the floor is yours, or I guess back to Adam. Let's do that.
Back to Adam.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Andy, who still has hosting privileges. You should give them back.
Nope. How do I
Um,
do that?
so click a little ellipsis on me, and there should be a make host.
There you go, sir.
All right, thank you. Everyone else, thank you for showing up. Jason is going to tell us a little bit about what's new in 2021.
Yep. Here, I believe I know most of you. I don't know some of you, but most of you know me, I think. If you don't know who I am, I guess, am I showing my screen yet? Let me share my screen real quick. Let's share screen real quick, and I will play that right here. Okay, so let me go back one. There we go. That's me. If you, well, you can probably see me. So I work for Applied Software Technology, formerly Inceptia, formerly DCCAD. Some of you may know me from those places as well. And I've been here for about, going on 15 years now. I am one of the senior civil solution specialists. My job, my primary job is to troubleshoot and figure out solutions to problems that the software is having. And that goes with Civil 3D, InfraWorks, Map 3D, AutoCAD, anything that the civil engineering world will be using. So I've been doing this for a while. I don't really dive into as many presentations as I used to, that's fun. That's neither here nor there. It's fine. But today I'm going to talk about some of the new features of Civil 3D 2021. And if you're holding your breath for a long list of new features, please don't. There's not a long list of new features. The biggest thing that people are talking about, that Autodesk is doing, is pressure pipe updates. And if you're not using pressure pipes, because a lot of people stopped using pressure pipes after it was released, mainly because they sucked. People said that they sucked. It didn't do what they wanted to do. It wasn't as dynamically connected as they wanted it to be. So now you have, Autodesk has decided they're going to pour a lot of their R&D money into fixing pressure pipes. So this is year one of their R&D push into it. Now, I don't know if there's going to be year two, but I assume that based off what I've heard, they're going to be pushing a lot of pressure pipe updates in the future. Now, I'm not the Civil 3D decision maker at Autodesk, so I'm just going based off what rumors I've heard, okay? The big thing is now, when you create your pressure pipe network path, you also get an alignment that is tied to that network. And if you edit the alignment, the network does follow that alignment. I'll show you that here in a little while, as well as you can create a profile from that alignment and have it dynamically linked. And the beautiful thing here is, as you go through and you lay out your pressure pipe network, it will also, if you calculate the clearance from the top of surface down, it's going to be dynamically linked to that as well. You can have several pipe runs in one pressure pipe network, whereas before we couldn't. It was all one entire network. And then, of course, you can add pipe bands automatically when creating those pipe runs. So it's pretty cool there. On my list here, on this slide here, you see that we have I have a comparison between Civil 3D 2020 and Civil 3D 2021. The bottom ribbon is what you see in 2020, and as you can see in 2021, they have added a lot more tools that I've highlighted there. You can add a bend, remove a bend in the PI, add your branch fittings, and of course there's your pipe runs and draw parts and profile and break a pipe run and merge pipe runs and so on and so on. Whereas before we were very limited. Okay, and the bottom image you'll see there, that's where I can reference the surface I want to follow, as well as, you know, how much I want to clear that surface. In this case, 3-foot cover. Okay. I will jump back to my PowerPoint here because if you know me, like I know me, I really hate PowerPoints. I'm not going to lie, but they serve a function. So let me get over here to Civil 3D real quick. And first off, Tom, I got to thank you. I was trying to find a demo set here, and I was trying to figure out what to do. Tom introduced me to this really cool this add-in that I downloaded called TL Random Surface Generator, which you can find in the Autodesk App Store, and it just generates a random surface for you. And I played around with it for a while, looking for a surface that I could possibly use. So I'm not intimate with the surface by any means, but it gave me something I can start with. All I did was get that surface. And when you get that surface, it does give it a name that you set that to rebuild. But it does give it a name that I had to change. It gives it some weird download time name. But I use that surface to basically put this together. So thanks to Tom for that one. So I have on my screen, you know, the existing ground surface, or a final surface of where I've got a corridor with an alignment and a profile that I've put in there, and you know, nothing fancy here. You've all done this, very basic here. And I'm going to go ahead and lay out a pressure pipe network. Okay, so pipe network, pressure network creation tools. I'm going to give it a name if I want, you know, pressure network. I'll just say 1. I'm going to call this one the main run. Okay. I choose my water list, my parts list. I choose my pipe size, but here's where it gets different. Okay. I'm going to reference my surface. I'm going to reference my Main Street top surface, and I'm going to create my surface profile to follow a 3-foot cover. Now this isn't locked in, and you can change this later. I'll show you where you can change it later. And I'm going to reference my Main Street alignment. Okay. I'm going to click OK, and now I can start laying out my network. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to come in here and say, I'll start right here. I'll break through right there. Come across here. I don't know, for purposes of just messing things up, I'll come in right there. And so I've got myself a network, okay? And I told you earlier that there's an alignment that's created with it. So if you select this network, you see that green line that appears here, that's my alignment that follows it. So it is there, okay? If I take this alignment and I grip edit it, the pipe network follows it as well. So much so that even if I grip edit the bend on this end, the bend also follows that and knows how to replaces itself with the correct bend. Okay, so let me get this back down here to the general area I'm going to be working with. So this is my main pipe run. Okay, and you know, then I can lay it out, come in here, and you know, fix this or screw this up as needed. Now, I'm going to have some runs coming off of this, and I'm going to do basically 2 runs. One that's going to be horrible, and one that you can see here. Let me see. I'll do one that's going to say come this way and down perpendicular to my alignment. perpendicular to my alignment. Okay. And then I'm going to do another pipe run. That's basically going to go from this location out here, because I want to show you what happens when you have a non-perpendicular pipe run here. So I can also come in here and create a pipe network from objects. If you're in the prospector tab and you go to pressure networks, pipe runs, you can right click on pipe runs and add them there as well. Create pressure network from object, add a pipe run from an object, add a pipe run from an object, same thing, okay? It's gonna ask you to select the item you want. I'm gonna select this, and it's gonna say, is that the direction you wanna go? I'm gonna hit okay. Was that a polyline? Hold on, was that a polyline? Nope, it wasn't. Let me join that, just so I can have that in there, okay? So, pipe run from object, I'm gonna select this item, and I'm gonna reverse that. That's where I want the water to flow, and I'm gonna hit okay. And I want it to, it's gonna be, right here, pipe run name will be pipe run 1 or 2. You give it a name, I'll say this one's gonna be, yeah, I'll just do the default number. I've been messing with this, so that might be a different number. And then 2, I'm gonna follow the Main Street top, the Main Street alignment, and the horizontal offset distance, I want that to be 3 feet as well, okay? I'm sorry, that's the horizontal offset difference, I want it to be 0. The elevation difference, I want it to be 3 feet. And I'm gonna click okay. And there I have my 2 pipe runs. Problem here is I don't have my branch fitting. So I'm gonna come over here and add a branch fitting. It says to select the first pipe at intersection. I'm gonna select the main pipe. Notice I'm not selecting the alignment, I'm selecting the pipe. Then it says select the second. And then I'm gonna hit enter, and there it is. Okay, it works great until you get to something that is not 90-degree angle. So let me add this right here, pipe run from object. Okay, that direction's okay. I'll take everything as default. Okay, and then add a branch fitting, of course, and then I'm going to select this one and then this one, and I'm going to hit enter, and then I have this problem. Okay, because obviously we only have 90-degree angles off of the main truck line here, so we have to fix that somehow. I'm just giving you the ins and outs of what's going on here. Frankly, I really don't care about that, so I'd probably come to this pipe run 2, and I would just delete that pipe run 2, and so does the branch fitting goes with it. Okay. So now that I have that, okay, like I said, you know, it truly is a Civil 3D object. Okay, so one thing you need to be aware of, if you're trying to do a save as, okay, notice that the AutoCAD format is 2018. Okay, a lot of folks believe that, oh, I can just save this file and send it to somebody who's using Civil 3D 2018, 1920, and they should be able to open it, and that's not the case. Okay, so you got to be aware of that. Several years ago, we had a problem. Let me bring this up over here. That I was involved in this really huge discussion with Autodesk. Okay, and it's right here. When Civil 3D 2017 came out, okay, there was a big argument. Oh, you can't save it backwards. Why can't I open it up in 2016 and work with it in 2016? And that's because every year Autodesk releases their information about the software, and they talk about this right here. AECC objects, anything that is Civil 3D, surfaces, alignments, profiles, etc., etc., etc. They are not backward compatible. Well, technically they're not supposed to be, okay? So even from the beginning, from Civil 3D in its infant stages, if you wanted to take it back to an older version, you had to export the data to AutoCAD and then export it to LandXML. And in the older version, you had to piece it all back together, okay? In 2013, we got really lucky. And what happened was they didn't make any changes to the Civil 3D content, the AECC objects. So 13, 14, and 15, there were no major changes to the AECC objects. So people got spoiled and they said, hey, look, you know, why can't I save back now? Well, in 17, they made changes to some of the pipe networks, which then thus updated all this AECC objects. So you need to be aware that you just can't save your files back if you're going to send them to somebody who's using an older version, okay? Because the drawing format, the AutoCAD line work in here is 2018. However, anything that you can find in the prospector, pretty much, is going to be 2021 content. So you have to export it all backwards if you're going to go backwards. Okay. Well, now that I got my pipe network in there, I can select my pipe network, any one of them, and I can do a pipe run profile. Okay. Here's where the magic happens. Here's where I'm going to say link this pipe network and this to my ground and make it dynamically updatable. So here I'm going to say link it to my profile, and the pipe, I want to link it to my Main Street. I'll do my Main Street proposed profile that I have right there. And I want to have my offset distance of 3 feet updated dynamically. And since I'm here, I'll create a new profile. Okay. I have other options here like doing offset fitting. I can reference a surface. Okay. Here I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to be taken to the Create Profile View dialog box, which we all know this, but I'm going to go ahead and explain right here. It's going to create the Main Street top proposed, and it's going to tie in that alignment. I'm sorry, the data source will be the Main Street top as well as the, oh, sorry, it's the pipe runs that I want to get to. Here we go. The pipe networks that are going to be brought in, okay? We should all know the rest here. So I'm going to create the profile view, and I'm going to say, I'll drop it, say right there. Okay. Let me move that in place, just so we have something to look at. And there it is. Now, where I have the break here is obviously where my pipes come in and out of the surface. So that's neither here nor there. But I'm now going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to create another profile view. In this case, I will do my main run profile view. I will use a full grids find, but I want to show you that I'm going to have, where are you? I should have several profiles in here. Okay, cancel that real quick. I want to add I want to merge those two profiles together. So I've got my EG, I've got my, what is that profile called again? My Main Street proposed. Okay. And let's go here. Profile view. Oh, I know what I'm doing. And let me see here. It's been let's come over here. Draw parts in profile view. I want to select. No, because that's not what I want to do. I want to merge them together. I want to merge. I did this earlier, and I remember doing it going, that doesn't make sense the way the method was doing it. So, because you had to create a whole new profile view. Let me just try this here. And next, right here. Create the profile view and drop it there. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Here's what I really want to see here. This is my Main Street proposed, and I should have, where's my that's my Main Street existing, I should say. Where's my profile for my Main Street proposed? I don't think I have it here. I know they're tied. Where is my Main Street proposed profile? It should be right there. Give me 1 second, folks. Centerline, Main Street, profiles. It's proposed. It's right there. Okay. I knew I had it here just a few minutes ago. Is it on? Let's go see here. It is on. And it's set to there. Apply. Okay. Let's try one more profile. I'm going to do the Main Street. Alignment. Okay. Let's see if this will do it here. Main Street proposed will be right there. And I'll drop that right here. That's what I'm looking for. I don't know why it was not appearing over there. This is what I want you to see. Never mind this guy behind the curtain. Don't need that. So right here, now that I have my pipe run in here, this blue line right here represents the pipe run profile, the main run profile. This represents the main street profile that's proposed. They're dynamically linked. So if I should edit one of these, the pipe network will also edit and follow along, okay? That is what, in my opinion, that's the big deal that Autodesk is trying to show here. It's still not perfect, folks, but this is huge improvement from what it was just, when it was released in 2013. Okay, so only almost a little over 7 years later, and we're finally getting to this. But that is probably the biggest thing that Autodesk has for Civil 3D. There's other features that I'm going to talk about here. Let me just bring my PowerPoint back up here. Okay, because on top of that, you got to remember Civil 3D is built on top of Map 3D, which is built on top of AutoCAD. So I said, well, let me talk to you guys beyond I could bore you with some other Civil 3D updates that really don't mean anything to you because you guys are a bunch of power users who are already either using these tools or beyond these tools. But I did find something in Map 3D that really, really interested me. You can now connect to a WMTS imagery server, okay, using a Map 3D Data Connect tool, okay? And so I said, oh, this is very interesting because just the other day I read this. This is from the TINRIS website. And from the TINRIS website, you can come in here and connect to their service. And it shows here that they have collaborated with Google to provide cost-efficient, widely accessible mapping tools that meets the needs and blah, 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 okay? Now, Andy mentioned to me earlier that Google also has an MTS server or a WMS server that I have not tested yet. So this was in our conversation about an hour right before this meeting. So I'm going to start looking into that to see if that will suffice instead of this. So we can test that and maybe have that as a future meeting topic. But before you get excited about this, I actually clicked on that link to request it, and this is the email that I got back from them, okay? So they have a license with Google, and they basically said, I cannot have access to it because I don't work for a government organization. Where the hell's Ish when we need him? Is he on the call? Ish, are you there? Damn it.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, my whole thought is if we can peg Ish to test this out for us, he can then tell us all about it. Because you have to have a government contract, and I did ask them, hey, can I even just have it for testing purposes? And they said no. You show us that you prove to us you have a contract with like TxDOT, and they have to request permission on your behalf. But I did find, let's come back over here.
Jason, I'm familiar with that.
You are?
Yes, this is Courtney Rowe.
Okay. So you've worked with it?
Yes, and it's been a capability for a while that you can connect to a outside imagery source. The one thing that I don't like is it's in grid, it's in whatever native format, and you can't scale it in CAD. So that's on my wish list to Autodesk, is being able to scale to surface coordinates, whatever service you happen to be bringing in.
Okay.
Details on that service though, they have had negotiations fall through with Google once again. They thought they were going to be able to keep that going. So they're going to be working through their own imagery services to be able to keep high resolution imagery going through the Texas Imagery Service. So be checking back with TINRIS as that evolves and funding goes through for them to continue their high resolution imagery program.
Perfect. Cool. Thanks for the information there. Yes, we have had the ability to connect to WMS servers before. And if you'd have, for those of you who don't know how to connect to a WMS server, I believe I have a blog on that. I'll find it here on my own, and I'll send it out to Adam, and Adam, you can, or actually I'll just put it on the Discord, because believe it or not, folks, I am on that Discord. I just don't, Adam's laughing over there because he knows I follow, but I'm so busy throughout the day. I'm always on the phone. I'm always answering emails. I peek over and I see something. If I can answer it in a quick, brief second or so, I'll put my 2 cents in. But on top of that, you guys are actually using the software in a way that I probably don't. Those who can't do teach. That's why I'm here. But yes, if I'll put it on the Discord once I find that website, the blog that I wrote. But the WMTS, which is a web map tile service, is now new, where you connect to your server, and I have one that I was using earlier. Is this the one? Yeah, I found one that worked. It's this Texas vegetation system. You connect to it. Actually, I didn't want to do it in this drawing. Cancel, because this drawing is just gonna screw things up. Let's go to drawing 3. There we go. And let's do a data connect. And I was really, really hoping and praying that they would have let me at least test it. And I don't need a password for this one. And then I'm going to add the vegetation sources here and add the map. And then let it do its processing. It's adding those layers. Okay. And this one took just a second or two. I'll move this over here to the other screen once this is done. You gotta remember, it's the entire state of Texas. But pick a county, any county, and you have your vegetation coverage. And this one's a very horrible one. I have other web services that I've used before, but they weren't WMTS. This is the other ones I've used are WMS services, and it should transform itself to the current coordinate system that you have. That's the whole point of Map 3D. So whether you're using grid or grid or plane or state plane or UTM or whatever you're using, it should automatically transform itself. So I'd be shocked if that it's not. I'm actually shocked, Courtney, that you said it's not doing it for you. So we want to reconnect on that one.
You can't apply a scale factor to change it from grid to surface. That's the problem.
Yeah. So the whole, and also, just so you know, I had this the other day, and let me see. In 2020, there is a known issue, and I came across this. There is a known issue where when you look at your drawing settings, on the transformation tab, if you're applying a transformation setting to here, and you go through and you work with it and you set it, and then you work on your drawing, the next time you come into your drawing, all these transformations are wiped out and your drawing reverts to some unknown location in space. I have seen it once or twice, and right now the only solution that Autodesk has is to go back to 2018 until they fix this, because it apparently worked fine in 2018, but it didn't work in 2020 or 2019 is when they started seeing it. So just something to be aware of if you're experiencing that. And it seems to be random. It does seem to be random. Okay. But that's the WMTS server. Another thing you might want to look at, just to talk about the other updates. So that's the Map 3D updates, just the ability to connect to a WMTS server. In AutoCAD updates, because obviously Civil 3D is built on top of AutoCAD, right? Let me open up an AutoCAD drawing. Let me see here. I have one right here on my computer. See. Let's go to. I'll use this one. That's fine. That's a good one. Okay, so over here in drawing 4, I'm going to XREF this addition. That's fine. Okay, add 0, 0, fine. And there it is. Okay, this is just an XREF. Okay, if I go to the source file and I say, let's just stretch this by something like, I don't know, 10 feet. It's in architectural units. Okay, so I then save the file. I come back over here to the drawing. You're gonna see that little balloon up here, which you've always seen that in the past, but there's something else in here called compare the drawings. You now have the ability to compare one XREF changes to what, so the red represents what was originally there, the green represents what is there now, okay? So you can do an XREF comparison, and there's all sorts of settings in here as to, you know, what you want the current XREF to look like versus what's in the new XREF, you know, turn on and off what's not different, you know, what's not being compared, and so on and so on, okay? When you're done, you can click it, and there's the changes. And if you want to, if you're in the middle of your drawing and you want to come back and compare it later, the command is xcompare, and you could just pretty much turn it right back on. Okay, so if the XREF balloon notification doesn't show up after, or you know, when you launch the drawing for the first time, after it's been closed overnight or something and somebody made changes, you're not going to get that balloon notification. So you can type in xcompare and go see what the changes are here. And one last thing I want to talk to you about what's new in the software is here. It's mainly the new trim and extend. And I don't mean there's really crazy things about it, but I really want you to know. Let's just do this real quick. Rectangular. Let's go here. There. Okay. Let's do this really quick. Okay. So I've got myself a whole bunch of lines here. Okay. I don't care about these over here. Okay. Let's focus on these. Okay. So in the past, when you hit trim or extend, I'm sure you've all noticed that if you hit trim, you're able to say enter again to select all. Now, they have given you the select all as a default, okay? But before you get excited, it only works in a fence mode, okay? So you can't do a window, okay? If I wanted to do a window, I'm clicking, dragging, it goes into some of the lasso. I can click and use a fence, but I can't really do that with a window, okay? So what if I want to trim and I want to be specific and I want to hold this line right here to trim because I want to get rid of everything else over here up to this line? Well, it doesn't really matter because when I do this, I have to then come in here and say, I want to trim this here and here and here to get to that point right there, okay? So you may or may not want that feature. Well, you want to set that back. Let's go back to my PowerPoint here, okay? The system variable is called trim extend mode. If you want to change that to go back to the original trim and extend, because remember, as much as I like all the new changes, I have to also tell you how to go back to the old way, just in case. So if you type in the system variable trim extend mode, trim extend mode, turn that off. Okay, I believe now you have the ability to hit trim, select the trimming item, then trim it the way you've always done it in the past. So trim extend mode, 1 is on, 0 is off, okay? So, and I'm mainly showing that to you because it's quite annoying, that's all, you know. But again, like I said, if I'm on stage drinking the Kool-Aid, okay? And as we were talking before the meeting, this is just something that I don't even have a PowerPoint for this, but the new insert command, you're missing the insert ellipses button right here. Let me turn this off. That's just getting flickering and annoying. I don't have that insert option here as with 2020 I did. So in order for me to go to a library insert, I go to my libraries and then I hit, as what Tom said, the Rubik's Cube. and then I can search for the block that I want to insert. And if you don't like that method, dd insert will bring back the old classic insert, or you can type in classic insert. Okay, there's more than one way to shoot yourself in the foot in AutoCAD. All right, and last, and I'll be done here. I didn't realize I was going to take up all this time. Sorry, folks. We'll be done here shortly. Let's talk about some collaboration. I'm not going to really show it, but I will discuss it. Let's come over here. Come here. Are you? Oh, there we go. Okay, so I don't know how many of you are using InfraWorks. And if you are using InfraWorks, you might like this. Some of the workflows between Civil 3D and InfraWorks, you now can add bridges to your corridor design in InfraWorks. And if the bridges are changed and republished in InfraWorks, you can then reload them back into your drawing. So if you take your design into InfraWorks, you start tweaking it out. It's not a dynamic link. You basically can create and edit in InfraWorks, push it out, and then update in Civil 3D, basically reload it in Civil 3D. Or you can go backwards. When you load your Civil 3D file in InfraWorks, you can create and edit the bridges or any of your design in Civil 3D and go back and reload it. I'm waiting for I want it to be connected dynamically day, so therefore I can make a change in one and it automatically opens up and the changes are there in the new one, but that's not happening yet. But it sounds like they're getting there. They're trying to push a lot of efforts into people using InfraWorks because they think that it's supposed to be according to Autodesk, everyone in an office should have a license of InfraWorks, and that's technically not true, but that's just, I think that there's going to be a couple of good InfraWorks folks in the office, and then everyone else will be using Civil 3D. Inside of Civil 3D, you now have the ArcGIS integration. Let me come back over here and go to the insert here. And you have the ability to connect to an Autodesk ArcGIS server, ESRI server, okay? You must have, let's see, we have a chat here. What's the comments here? Oh, sorry, I'm missing something. I saw somebody put a, Adam, check out the comments here because I can't find them right now. And if I need to address them, I will. But the Autodesk ArcGIS connector, you must have an ESRI account, okay? Now, I finally got one from someone who was supposed to give it to me months ago, but I got it like last week. So I really haven't had time to jump in on this and play with this. But the idea here is if you have an ArcGIS account and you have an ESRI account, you can connect to your ESRI data online and connect it right into Civil 3D. Okay. Once I master that and figure how to really use that, that might be another topic for future discussion. Okay. And also another one, I know that I've been seeing people online do this. Where is it? The analyze? No, it's the manage. Adam, you've been playing with this for the past week or so, the Dynamo player and the Dynamo content. I haven't had time to jump into that, but I do know that the connectivity is supposed to be phenomenal or better. Dynamo's been there for a couple of releases, but now you have the ability to connect to it right here inside of Civil 3D. You have anything to add there, Adam, on Dynamo?
It's still pretty limited for in Civil 3D. You get alignments, some aspects of Kogo points. If you get the Civil 3D toolkit, you'll get access to some part network and pressure part stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's being developed a little more, but it's all open source, so it's whoever's developing it's time frame.
Yeah. So yeah, and so if that, sorry to bust your bubble, if you weren't looking for updates in pressure pipes, then you're probably going, oh, there's no really major differences between 2020 and 2021. Though I do say, at some point you're going to want to update to 2021 because eventually, well, let me tell you how I tell people to update. Whatever the calendar year is, that's the software I recommend you installing. Unless, of course, you are like most of the people in this group, just trying to be on the forefront of what's changes. I know that some of you are beta testers and you're probably already in bed with 2021 before it's even released. So that you're a different group of people here. But for the common people, because you guys have people who are working with you or under you, I would say let them continue working out 2021 kinks this year, and then come next year when the calendar year is 2021, then we go ahead and install the 2021 software, because by then most of the kinks have been massaged out of the software. Okay, so that's it for me. Is there any other questions or anything I need to address? I didn't see the comments here.
No, there were no questions. Just Courtney making comments about wishing she had InfraWorks.
Ah,
Hey,
go ahead.
this is Josh Thompson. A question for you. Has the number of parts that a pressure network can handle improved? I know that was a limiting factor for my decision not to start using it.
I haven't heard that being a limiting factor. How many parts, like you're talking about one part, how many parts in one network?
Yes.
Oh.
Is that there was a limit, back like when pipe network started, there was a limit on how many parts a network could handle and still be successful.
I will do some research into that for you, and then I'll post it on the Discord. Okay, let me write this down here because that's the first I've heard of it. Limit of number. Any other questions?
How does the dynamic lowering of a pipe when you have a crossing in the pressure pipes work?
Let's come back over here. And let's go right here where, oh, I don't have my, let's go right over here and let's go add my, let's go.
I was mainly concerned with if I have a storm drain line that crosses it and I need to lower the water line to go under it. Is that something that can easily be done, or do you have to add parts, or how do you edit it?
Well, if you have the part in here, so you're talking about a pipe run that's not even connected to this.
That they cross each other.
Okay, no, they're not dynamically linked. So you're going to have to, if I have one right here that crosses, yeah, it's not going to be dynamically linked. They're not tying to each other until
the water line to go under the storm drain line. And
yeah.
The rest of the parts still be dynamically linked.
Only if they're being tied to the same profile.
Hey, I've got an idea on that. This is kind of a weird thought for the group, and maybe Tom, this would make sense to you. If you had some kind of Dynamo script that could generate a surface that's either on the top or the bottom of a storm drain line, you could paste that surface and create a composite and then have the water line trend against that surface. I'd be curious to see what it did. It wouldn't put your brakes and it wouldn't put your 45 degrees in there, but it would be kind of a way to use the surface as a guide for where the water line is, and you're just faking the surface wherever that gravity network is, and it would dodge it that way. Since it's linking to a surface, it doesn't care which surface it's linking to. If you could create a composite surface that actually has these like dug channels for your gravity network, it theoretically would miss that. I think that's just a thought, just a neurotic thought.
And the other thing that I was trying to do is, instead of dynamically linking it 3 foot below the main surface, was creating a profile of where I wanted the water line to go and doing it with the 0 offset. So maybe hopefully it'll go down, up and around like I want it to, but I haven't played with it enough. But
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think my solution was a combination of the two. I would create a composite surface of the EG first, FG second, so that if I do cross outside of my proposed, it's still getting a surface. And then I would tie it to that surface initially, and that would show me where my 3 foot drop is going to be. Then I would go back and draw a profile for where I want the flow line to be. Then I would reset that run to reference the profile instead of the surface. Then if you add PIs to the profile, it should insert the breaks and give you the lowering that you want.
Yeah, I was trying to play with it like that, but I was having trouble adding the appurtenances to make the 45 vertical to go down and around, and it was just, I got it to work, but it was a lot of work.
I think I need to play with it more.
Yeah,
And I'll test some crazy scenarios out because I can crash my software all day long.
I was having trouble adding vertical bends in the profile.
Okay. Yeah, Civil 3D does not like vertical bends. It never has. I don't think it ever will, even though Autodesk may say it does with pressure pipes. I still avoid a vertical bend just because, you
play
know.
with it in a model 3D view, and it worked well. I think in 2019 when I did one.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Josh, I'm going to look into your limits of the parts, and then for the rest of this, I will take who was it that asked about the crossing? Was that
That was me.
Who's me?
That was David.
Oh, David. Okay, David. Sorry, David. I will take a look into those crossings to see if I can get an answer for you. Okay. Any other questions?
Nope, doesn't look like it. Thank you very much, Jason, for coming and talking to us about this.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
Thanks. Cool.